for us to show another side of Haiti, I think is very important because what I've seen in Haiti, I tell folks, if you were with me in Haiti, you would have a different perspective.
Hey folks, welcome to the Creole Narratives podcast, where we amplify stories about the Haitian diaspora and amplify IET. I'm your host, Fadia Patterson, and joining me today is photojournalist Octavio Jones. Hello, Octavio. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Basically, I know you just came back from your trip from Haiti and you were there at the height of the unrest that was happening. Can you describe a little bit about what was going on there when you were there?
I think I've been there several times, I guess over the past year and a half, and I've been to Port-au-Prince at least 3 times, and it seems like each time that I have been in Port-au-Prince, you can just see how things were sort of gradually just changing. And I guess in the mood of, how just the tension, just following the people there in Haiti when it comes to, just the government that's always been in, since like in transition, following the assassination of Prime Minister Jovenel Moïse. And you can see how the country, and its tenor when it comes to the politics and the economy, that you can slowly but surely see that change. So just there as a photojournalist, I've been there on a few assignments for a few publications, and you can just see how folks, you can see how it's such a wonderful, beautiful country along with the people. But you can see how just how people felt about the government, how things were going following the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, and how folks were just on edge. So this recent trip, I was there with a reporter from NPR, the Central American and Caribbean correspondent, Ada Peralta. The trip there was definitely, we can feel and sense the tension that was happening throughout the country. Even though we crossed the border of the DR and Haitian border, we got into Haiti eventually after being held up in the DR for 4 days. But once we got over, you could just feel that the folks of Haiti, especially, even though we're not in Port-au-Prince, we were in Cap Haitian, you can tell people were just worried about the future of Haiti.
We typically run to the problem as journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Did it ever cross your mind to maybe cancel the assignment, given that there was so much unrest, and even at that time, 2 prison breaks had just happened?
Yeah. No, it probably was not. I think, because I've been there, several times there, and my friends who are local journalists there say, hey, man, you might as well just get a place here. This is after the 3rd or 4th time there, but I wasn't worried because I think being there in the country, our sense of safety, but also, as you mentioned, as a working journalist, you kind of know the ins and outs of like how to carry yourself as a journalist, right? And I think it's also what's important is definitely has helped us out as any journalist. If you've been to Haiti several times, you go there to establish relationships, not only with journalists, but folks who work with journalists. We call them fixers. Some people call them guides. Also, just people who we just meet out in the neighborhoods, folks within the government, business leaders, political leaders. So I always kind of feel, I have a sense of like a blanket of security on how to carry myself, and I think that, when I go to Haiti, it's just like, I feel the warmth and compassion of folks who believe in their country. So I believe in that country and believe that country will turn around, hopefully one day. And so I have that blanket of security in the sense that I'm okay regardless what happens, I think so.
Who is the most interesting person that you met so far when you went to Haiti?
Oh man, I've met quite a bit of interesting people from Haiti. When it comes to what always gets me if I'm flying into the either the Cap Haitian airport or the airport in Port-au-Prince, I think the encounter, the experience, even just getting your luggage from baggage claim to folks who were there automatically just greeting you, once you get into the country. Folks who are cab drivers, they know they call me Blanc, right? Say, hey Blanc, welcome back. So you see the same folks that say welcome back. And and I think that first encounter with folks like that are interesting because they'll give you the rundown of what's happening in the country, as if they're I would call them my human Twitter feed in a way because they'll tell you exactly what's happening, or what's the move, what's happening, within the economy. Not just have to be all bad things, but also good things that are happening too. They tell me where to go get food. They'll have me say, hey, this is where you should stay. They'll tell me where there's conflict if I'm in Port-au-Prince, in and around Port-au-Prince. So even just and beyond that, just meeting just folks on the street, especially one thing as what is so different between here and the U.S., and Haiti. It seems like there's an open market. We have vendors all over the place selling things, right? So I think meeting folks like that too, who are able to connect with, right away. And also just, I think the list goes on and on. And I have, you meet folks, as I say, from the Haitian diaspora who've left Haiti to come and work in the U.S. for 30 years and go back to Haiti to retire. I can think of one gentleman who left Haiti when he was 10 years old, and he had lived in the U.S. for 35, 40 years and retired, and he moved back to Cap Haitian. But he's also the interesting guy who, he kind of catches me up on the news of what's happening in Haiti. So, yeah.
And by the way, for people who don't understand, blonde translates to white, but I kind of feel that Haitian people use it interchangeably as like a stranger or a foreigner. Yeah. Is that how you understood it?
Yeah, because definitely they would say foreigner, because even folks who may be it's a term of endearment for lighter skin complexion. Because matter of fact, one of the guys who I know, Yvonne, who's a fixer there and a journalist, I hear oftentimes they call him blonde too, even though he may just a little bit couple of shades darker than me. But I hear that they call him that too as a nickname, I guess. So, but yeah, I think it's. I think people, I often get confused and ask me if I'm Dominican or, from somewhere else, from another country. I said, no, I have to explain African American from the U.S. So, yeah. So.
What have you taken away from your experience going to Haiti and covering these stories that you feel that is lost on the international community and people who are not there?
I think, I know it's one thing and I can understand if I'm sitting at home watching TV, and if you hear all about Haiti, like Haiti is in a total free fall, and you're not really understanding the complexity of what's happening in Haiti, it is totally different, and you have to know what's really going on. Yes, I encourage folks to read. And read anything that's possible that you can about trying to figure out what's happening in Haiti. At least get a knowledge, or at least a foundation, on Haiti's history. So when I'm there, it's totally different when you're there on the ground as a journalist, because most of the conflict that you encounter when things are happening are in Port-au-Prince, right? And they would say where, if you want to call them gangs or groups or whatever, I can't speak on that, but I know the conflict is happening inside Port-au-Prince. Outside of Port-au-Prince, there's a different kind of conflict. But have you those folks who, Haiti is a beautiful country, and I've been there several times. I've been to the countryside. I've been to the Central Plateau. I've been to the north and the south of Haiti, and from Lacaille to Cap Haitian to small towns like Marceline, Port-au-Paix, and all these Camp Perrin, all these towns in between, Hinch. There's such ornate and beautiful towns that people are welcoming. Like when you go, it's always sad because I have to come back, because I think when you're telling stories there, I have Haitian who was there. They thank me for coming to tell their story. They thank me and say, hey, thank you for telling a different side of Haiti where most just see protest folks who are fighting in the streets for a better government, for a better economy. That's what, or they see, gangs. I get it. Gangs are in the street that are fighting with police, but have you? They see that, and that's on TV all the time. But for us to show another side of Haiti, I think is very important, because what I've seen in Haiti, if I tell folks, if you were with me in Haiti, you would have a different perspective on what you see, what you hear all the time on television, on TV, or whatever, social media. I always say they are our neighbors. I try to come, and I love human interest stories. I come with my, no pun intended, with a lens of showing compassion and just telling folks stories. As my treatment as a photojournalist, I go into a community, if I'm in Haiti or here in Tampa or down in South Florida to North Florida, somewhere, any small town. I think I bring that sense of that same attitude in my job. Yeah.
And I definitely saw a lot of your photos that you shared with me. In those photos, I see a lot of human interest in them. I see the person and not the situation that's surrounding them. So is that the approach that you're going for in your pictures?
Yes, absolutely. I think, and especially where it was, well, when I was taken aback when I photographed the hospital in a nonprofit hospital in Cité Soleil, right? And people say, "Oh man, don't go to Cité Soleil; it's very dangerous." And this is, people they hear on TV, and I go to Cité Soleil, right? I go to Cité Soleil, and I make what's important as a journalist, you make the contacts there first, right? And so I contacted the executive director of the hospital in Cité Soleil. The center, I'm trying to translate this in English, is the city hospital of Fontaine, right? And I contact her name is the executive director is Corinne Ulisse. Well, her first name is Jerry Ann, but Corinne is her middle name. And I contacted her and let her know who I was. And she said, "Sure, you are more than welcome to come into our hospital and document what we're doing there." And it was incredible. This is the only hospital in Cité Soleil that is up and running 24/7 that are treating folks who can't afford healthcare treatment anywhere else, who don't have the means of transportation or of getting healthcare treatment. And I was there, I think maybe 2 or 3 days. I think I was there for a total of 3 days, and able to tell their story and tell that story of folks who live maybe a block away or a couple miles away from this hospital that need treatment. And they have an incredible staff there, and they're working with just the basic means of, I would say sometimes often antiquated healthcare, machinery, healthcare equipment. If you were to go in one of their, one of their hospital, or their wing of their hospital, you would think you were back in the 80s somewhere, So they're operating what they can get by, and but able to kind of document what's happening in the NICU. I mean, some of the kids, they have several kids who are born malnourished, which is heartbreaking as a parent myself. I have a teenage daughter, but I know as a newborn that you want a future for your young child. So, but able to do that and able to not only as a photojournalist, you could photograph them in a hospital, but I'm curious to where they live, right? So, and I told the fixer, so you know what? Let's ask some of these patients. Let's go to their neighborhood, right? Let's go to their community. And again, if you go into that community, you can understand, you see, you don't see the best of the situation. I'll never forget that I went not even 200 yards from the hospital. You go into the neighborhood and you can see where folks who don't have the means of electricity, folks are families are sharing one room. In Cité Soleil, there are a lot of homes that are just unfinished. They have mosquito nets on the doors. You have a makeshift curtain blocking the windows. I think there's one photo I've taken of a little girl, she's probably no more than 10 or 11 in a rocking chair, just holding a baby doll, right? And just you think, he's like, wow, as photojournalists, we're human too, right? And and you look at a perspective I really hope that she has a future, And that's the way I come at my photojournalism, photojournalism as a documentary photographer, to because I want the world to see what I'm seeing. And that's the perspective I've had, because in this hospital, for them to to run as a nonprofit, and they just take, they take donations, right, to treat folks. And because at the same time, they have doctors and nurses who are doing this for the love of patient health care. I often say I've seen more babies born in this hospital. I've seen more babies born here in the U.S. And I don't go into the living rooms. I can count maybe like on one hand. Sometimes I've been in the living room here, but I've seen several babies being born to mothers who may not have the means to take care of the child, right? But
So you had a lot of access then. That means you had a lot of
yeah,
access. That means
the
also
access president, yeah.
that these folks trust you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in French, I think is I don't know. It's center hosp. I don't give it out.
Okay.
My French is bad, but I think it said for the hospital center of Fontaine.
Hospital Center of Fontaine. So
Yeah.
they're just operating with whatever means they can and the expertise
Yes.
of the doctors.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I think Corinne Yulise and her father, Jill, I think they're doing an incredible job. And all the other hospitals and clinics in and around Haiti, and especially in Port-au-Prince, that they're in a critical time right now in healthcare. That's one area I would love to go back and kind of continue to document where doctors and nurses, a lot of them have left the country already. But yeah. So, yeah.
I'm sure the healthcare system is not improving, especially since the earthquake that happened a few years ago. And
Yeah.
that's how you initially got to Haiti.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think during the earthquake, and that's when that's the first time actually seeing a lot of folks, a lot of non-profit NGOs that were coming to the country to come in and try to help folks, that sustain, long-term injuries. Just to treat folks in healthcare, those who in badly need of healthcare prior to the earthquake happening. That was quite an experience with NPR. Back then, we were able to spend 4 days in Lakai, and we would go to there would be a makeshift tent city, and all over Lakai, especially in the soccer stadium they have there, which was just to see that was I was totally taken back from it. Have folks that even though the situation was completely dire, they didn't know where they were going to go, where can they get back into their homes or homes if they were still standing, if they're still left. But you can still, one thing I will say that you can feel the resiliency of the folks there in Lakai. And just the Haitian people alone, the resiliency is incredible. I haven't been to a long place, but I have never seen nothing like it, like I do in Haiti. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting how things have developed so quickly. But for some reason, a lot of people feel, this time is different. There's been unrest in the past, but a lot of people feel that, this is like a revolution for Haiti right now. It's a critical time that we might actually see some effective change. Do you feel that way?
When talking to people there on the ground, I think a lot of people, they want, what we've gone to do our interviews, they want change, and they want to see Haiti go in a direction where that Haitians are in control of their destiny, right? I have heard that time and time again. I think there's, as you say, the Haitians will fix their own. Haitians will fix Haitian problems in the country. And I think that's what I get. I think that the history of folks that are coming in from nations around the world, I think they say we appreciate it, but history. It seems like the history of it all has always been not with good intentions, and you will hear that time and time again. These are just not with good intentions. So they know, I guess, with the council they're developing, that people they do have high hopes that things will turn around. But I think, again, we have to wait and see in what direction, the folks will take the country into, and I think that I will get a lot of that. So And I think Haitians, they love that. They love their country. I've never met anyone from Haiti that said, man, I don't like where I'm from. I don't like the country. And when I tell folks, they don't want to leave, right? They don't want to leave their country. I think they said, we want to stay here. We want to see our country flourish. And you would hear that, you would hear that from the small vendor, who has a small business on the street, to folks who are in affluent neighborhoods, and have the affluent community. The narrative seems like for the Haitian people is the same. You may have folks that may differ, in which they say what the direction the country going to, but I think the pride of Haiti is still there, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So. I talked about this in a previous episode on my podcast where, I have family members who had the plan to come to the States for a little bit until things settle down, and maybe a few years later go back to maybe retire or go back, start a business, or maybe even bring their children back. But decades later, they've never had that opportunity. And, I know even my grandmother passed away without having the opportunity to really go back and explore the country again because of all the violence and unrest. So, this generation is definitely mourning that possibility, especially the older generation. But I feel like we are seeing younger generations, Haitian American even, going back and doing amazing things in the country.
Yeah, and again, and not to mention, Haiti's history is so intertwined with our history, right? It's like, even going back, you've heard this before, even going back to the American Revolution, they sent, the French occupied Haiti at the time. They sent a Haitian regiment, to fight in the Civil War, help fight, not Civil War, in the Revolutionary War, and that's incredible. Even there's a monument dedicated to those Haitian soldiers that came and fought in the Revolutionary War in Savannah, Georgia. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, it's a beautiful monument, right? Yeah. And the interesting thing about it, they talk about Henry Christophe, right? Do you see him? I don't know if you've seen the monument before in Savannah. If you haven't, if you go to Savannah, you should really check it out. They have Henry King. Now he was a king, right? Young Henry Christophe being a drummer boy, is that actually they believe that he was here as a young soldier to help America fight in the Revolutionary War. You can see him being as a young boy. I think he was like 9 or 10 playing the drums in his memorial. So I think that how the history of Haiti and how it relates to, of course, some say with the Louisiana Purchase. I can't speak on that. I'm not a historian, but I said that was definitely directly to maybe Haiti's involvement too. So it's it's a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
Without between both countries, right?
There's a lot of history that, even my friends tell me, oh, I didn't know, it's not discussed. It's like, it needs its own book in our history courses, but we don't really discuss it. And, you and I are journalists. That's what we do as our profession. What can we do to better amplify stories of the Haitian diaspora, especially since they've contributed so much to society here in America and abroad?
I think, even just the contribution. I had to take my daughter to the ER. I think it was early last year. She had, I think what was going on? Tonsillitis infection, right? Oof. As soon as we get in, the first person she sees is this doctor, right? And I noticed the doctor's last name. I can't remember her last name, but I can see her face and say, would you happen to be of Haitian descent? I'm just curious. She said, oh, how did you guess? And I'll tell her my story. Like I'm telling you, I've been to Haiti several times, and yes, and that conversation, that first encounter, she was just like, I can't tell you how proud I am to be of Haitian heritage, right? And she said she grew up in New York, and then she came to New York when she was 3 or 4 years old, and how her own story of how that her parents, may have had much of nothing, depending on where they grew up in Haiti, but they know when they have got the opportunity to come to New York, and raise their family and making sure that she would be successful in life. and she carries that every day. She said, she said, thanks to my parents for making a sacrifice to come to the U.S. and making sure I was there to get I'm quoting her verbatim, to get a good education, to go to college, to go to med school, to be here today and treat patients like your daughter, right? And it was like, and there are many, many stories like her that I've done stories on here in the Tampa area. So yeah, even going back to my friend and colleague for a long time, Carl Juiced, right? Mm-hmm. Who's photojournalist at the Miami Herald. And he told me years ago, when you go to Haiti, right, there's something about Haiti is going to keep calling you back. And I was like, man, Carl, what are you talking about, man?
Really?
But he was right. Yeah, he was right. It keeps calling folks back, and he said, because he said something about Haiti and of course it's very special. He said, and he's right. And I when I do go back, and there's so many stories to tell, because especially being an African-American journalist, a photojournalist, I think us as journalists here, we should do our due diligence to go there and tell their story, right? And not only just Haiti, but also, other countries in the Caribbean too, right? They also have a similar history, what Haiti has done for other countries too in Central Caribbean, Central and South America. I've heard that too from people that say, "Hey, we want to see more Black journalists here in Haiti, to tell their stories," right? So yeah, and of course there have been many in the past to go, but I think even more so now. I think folks do need to go there and go report. I think it's important.
It's a beautiful thing. And now you're like an adopted relative going there to visit.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times because one thing as journalists, we always try to make a connection with other journalists where we go, especially if you're going out of town or going to another state or going to another country, because you want to know what's happening, right? And able to make that connection with other, photojournalists or reporters there. They welcome me with open arms. They tell me, "Hey, come by the house." They say, "Hey, come stay at the house." They'll tell you. Sometimes they say, "Come stay at their homes," instead of being in a hotel tucked away somewhere that you're kind of away from everything. But it's definitely special for me to go there as a photojournalist to report. Absolutely.
Well, on behalf of the people who are watching your work and seeing your work everywhere on multiple outlets, we appreciate it. I just want to thank you for taking the time to join me on the Creole Narratives podcast, and also for all that you do to amplify the stories of the Haitian diaspora through your photography. And I know you're going to head back there, so be safe.
Yeah.
And I hope to catch up with you again.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.